Oh. How am I going to do this? Just getting things, and I need something to put my camera on. Literally anything. Let's see. I'm going to pull an Emmett and literally just stream myself sitting here doing stuff on my computer. Yeah. Yellow. I'm gonna like ruin the backboard of my bed if I lean against this too hard. How's your guys' week going? Seeing a 508 for the August test. Good luck with that. 508s are good sirens. Just finished some summer school today. Where's the 508? I have a local 508. It's up in Michigan. I can hear it from my house. You might have seen it in a few videos. Border between Indiana and Michigan. Is that the one on Redfield Street? Is that the 508 you're talking about? Like in Milton Township, Michigan, just north of Granger? Is that the 508 you're talking about? Not gonna lie, I might actually meet you there. I was gonna go into Niles again to redo the alerter at the factory. But yo, if you're gonna be there, dude, I could totally meet you there for the Niles test. I might. We'll see. I filmed that siren 3 times now, so it's nothing new for me. But dude, if you want to meet up, that'd be great. The one on there's multiple 508s on Redfield Street. It's the one that's just north of like downtown Granger. Yeah. I'm not in your Discord. I'm not really in. I have Discord, but I'm only in one server, and it is for something unrelated to this channel. I might join some Discord servers later in the future, since I think that's how everyone communicates information that I don't see. I don't know. I don't have a Discord. Or, well, no, I just said I had Discord. I'm not sure I'm gonna use Discord for YouTube stuff, so I'm not gonna get into that. At least not specifically. Elkhart Road and Adams Road. Let me look up the Indiana siren or the Michigan siren map and see which one you're talking about. Where is it? I have so many bookmarks. It's in Indiana. Oh, you mean like one of the ones in St. Joseph County, or one of the ones controlled by St. Joseph County that's technically in Elkhart County, like the eastern side of St. Joe County, where it's that line of 508s. I'm pretty sure those are all dead. um, yeah, I can't confirm, but I'm pretty sure none of those work. Um, hold on. I have an August calendar. Let me check to see if I have a siren test that day, because I could meet you at another siren. August 2026. I have nothing that day. I plan on seeing one of St. Joe Sirens on Thursday, August 6th. Okay, well, all right, guys. I'm not gonna show you my calendar, but here's my siren test schedule for moving forward for the rest of summer. I'm going to somewhere in Elkhart County on Thursday, July 30th. At least that's the plan. And then let's see. I'm gonna try and catch a siren test in St. Joseph County, Michigan on Saturday the 1st. Maybe. And then I might do Buchanan, Indiana on Monday the 3rd. I think it's Buchanan that has is that where it, like Lake of the Woods, like where they have the STL-10, the Model 2s, and the Screamer S2? Maybe it's not Buchanan. But maybe something on the first Monday. And then 2 siren tests on Thursday, something in Elkhart and something in St. Joe. And then after that, the only other siren test of the summer would be August 13th. Again, Elkhart County, which I'm taking full advantage of the fact that they test weekly now. So, I don't know which siren I'm going to go to for St. Joe County on the first Thursday of August. Not gonna lie, I might just record my local SRN again. The one that's at North Point Elementary School. That's the closest siren to my house. I might just record that one. If you want to meet me there, that'd be fun. Sealing a Wheeling 2806 next week. Sweet. Which, where is it? I don't have a lot of Whelans near me. I know I have those Vortexes in Dowagiac. That's, I mean, it's not much of a test. Said it's in Michigan? Oh, I'm gonna scroll back. Okay, I technically live in Indiana, but I'm really close to Michigan. So if you're gonna be real strict about only Michigan residents, then I'm not gonna join it. They do chimes, voice announcement, and full alert. That's awesome. What phone do you use? It's a Motorola. I know. It's a Moto G Pure. No, a Moto G Play 2024. Indiana or Michigan. Let's see. Well, I'm gonna do. Let's see. For the first Saturday, I'm gonna be up at the lake, so Niles is kind of out of the picture, unless my parents let me drive really far, which I might see if I can get away with. But I would probably, if I had the choice, I would probably do on Saturday, the 1st, I think, I would see the Thunderbolt 1003 in Constantine, Michigan, and then haul my butt over to Niles an hour later to watch one of the alerters or one of the 508s. And then on the first Thursday of August, I would see some sort of siren in St. Joe County, maybe my local siren again, because they're all 2001s. They're all the same. And then I would go over to Elkhart and maybe see the I-Forces at the Elkhart County Fair grounds. Either that or I would go film a T128 somewhere. So this unit is unlike the other ones in Westland. The Whelans are there mostly single tone. The 2806 is dual tone. Wow. So that means it's analog. That is awesome. I love analog Whelans. Unless it's the rare first instance of a digital Whelan being dual tone, which that would be incredible. Here, I have my computer up. Let me look at some of the driving distances between. Oh, okay, it's UV. That makes sense. I keep forgetting that you can put sirens on controllers that aren't the original manufacturer. And I gotta be real. I hate ultra voice Whelans. I hate ultra voice Whelans. That's why I am tempted to never go to Monroe County, Michigan. Well, also, it's really far from me. It's like, it's intentionally not a bucket list system for me. Wish they all had the original 2030. Yeah. You know, Whelan makes the ESC 2030 to a certain specification. Like, they lock up the settings on it from the factory. Like, 560 hertz single tone. Oh, 2020, yeah. 2020s are even better. I love ESC 2020s. As junk as they are of siren controllers, they sound cool. They were for 465 hertz on an ESC 2020. I don't think that was ever offered. Maybe a 455 then. Everyone thinks it's 450 hertz, but it's actually 455. Like this. As opposed to 465. Small difference. They're so similar. But man, I really wish that the ESC 2030 could be set to dual tone. It's possible. Whelan offers custom programming. Or they don't offer it, but it's possible. But you have to do it by like specific request with a valid reason. You can't just order an ESC 2030 and request a custom program without a valid reason. I've never been dual tone without the UV. That's fair. Yeah, I think ultra voices are. I don't know. I think dual tone on an ultra voice is a little bit less. I don't like it as much. Um, Maybe it's just because it's so high pitched that the tones have really similar frequencies. Like I don't know, the interval is the same. It's still a minor third, but like numerical frequencies are so close together. I don't know. Nice seeing you at SirenCon. Yeah, I'm glad I went. That was fun. I still want to go again. Though I can understand why some people say they don't want to go anymore. Like, they've been to so many, but also I can see why. I can see the appeal. Can you go to the 508 off of Redfield Street? Yeah. Well, I realized that I'm going to be out of town this weekend. I'm going to be up at the lake house, which is in like northern Cass County. So coming back for the Redfield Street 508 for Niles would be like a 30-minute drive. And considering I've already seen that siren like 3 times, I don't know if I can. I forgot when I said that I could meet you for a siren test that I'm going to be up at the lake. So I'll be further away. And there aren't a lot of close sirens to where I am. There's the Model 5 in Marcellus, but I'm pretty sure it's disconnected. I've gone, I think, on 3 separate occasions to hear it noon blast, and it's never gone off. And then the next closest siren to that is Cassopolis, which they have a 2001 130 and a Model 5, which I'm pretty sure is also disconnected. And the 2001 130 is like the city of Cassopolis sucks with their siren testing schedule. It can be up to like an hour late, and they can test anywhere from 2 seconds to 3 minutes. So unpredictable. I'm not going to go back to Cassopolis for siren tests. It's not worth it. So I guess that leaves me with St. Joseph County, Michigan, which I'm actually going to pull my map back up because I want to figure out what I can go to. Build 3000s in your area. Before getting 130, it had UVs on them. Got super used to it. Seeing a modulator became boring. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. It's not the same. I know, South. Okay, first of all, where's my. I made a Michiana siren map by just combining bits of the Michigan and Indiana siren maps together into one. I can't find it, but I'll just pull up. Oh, where is it? No, still it's the siren maps. Yeah, I need to figure out what sirens are close to, what the closest sirens to my place up at the lake that I can go see without making my parents upset that I have to drive really far to go see sirens. Okay. I could meet you for, Jax, I could meet you for the, something in St. Joe County on the first Thursday, but I would probably not be able to meet you on the first Saturday. So I got the Indiana siren map up, got the Michigan siren map up. So let me see where I'm located and look for some close sirens. Okay. So there really isn't anything close. Closest. That's a large message. UV on our Whelans still made sense. Our Whelans before the UV were high pitched around 750 hertz, sounded like 2001s. Should have slapped FCs on the ESC 864s, then UV controllers. So they were analog WS3. Well, if they were ESC 864s, then they were WPS 3000s. And I mean, I see why you would want that, but upgrading it to an Ultra Voice is just more reliable and probably cheaper and easier to implement. Sounded like. I mean, if they get the job done, that's fine. I don't know. I'm just like whenever I hear about odd replacements like that, I always think about it from just a business perspective and from like a county perspective. Like, you know, they made those choices for a reason. So, anyways, back to what I was saying earlier. The closest sirens to my lake house are far. I've been to Marcellus. That's not gonna work. I've been to Dowagiac. SGC needs to replace them with sirens. They should replace them with 508s. I think St. Joe is just going to keep running them until they stop working anymore. They're going to repair them if they. I mean, they've been running the same physical like heads on the sirens since they were installed in 1999. So for 27 years, they've been running those SRNs with various controllers. The poles are all original, but the controls have been replaced. And as long as the heads still work, they're not going to replace them. I haven't been to Twin Lakes before. Hold on. weird. It's doing some odd stuff with the messages. Because for no reason, they never had any huge issues with the systems. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, again, like, the reason everyone replaced sirens with 2001s is just because they work. Like, yeah, they're not interesting, but, like, you know, not everyone's a siren enthusiast. They don't need to be interesting. They just need to work. And the reason 2001s have been made for like 30 years now is because they work. They just keep upgrading the series because it works so well. It's an STH-10. I can't tell if you're joking. Twin Lakes has an SRNB, but it's on Cass County. See, all of the 508s in... Actually, don't know. I'm not that deep in sirens yet. Okay. The STH-10 was a siren made by Federal Signal. For a long time, it uses a 10 horsepower motor, and it's 12-port, single tone. It's the one that has all of the horns around like the circumference, but only one stack of it and not two. Have you seen the equivalent of tornado siren ever? I don't know what you're asking. Here, you know what? Let me. It's weird to explain without giving you a visual. Let me show you a picture of an STH-10. Here you go. Here's your STH-10. With the... I'm trying to camera around. Here's your STH-10. That's what one looks like. They're fairly common in the U.S. at least, but I don't have a lot of them around here. Yeah, one of these things. Yeah, these are one of the sirens that people... Yeah, I mean, when people first learn about sirens, most people hear about a Thunderbolt first, and then probably like the Model 5, and then, I don't know, maybe the ACA Alerter after that. Like people who watch the Civil Defense Siren compilation on YouTube by that one dude. If you want to learn about siren models, a good place to start is that Civil Defense Sirens compilation. Which is, it's okay. Some of the models are wrong. But, here, let me show you. This video, Civil Defense Warning Sirens Collection, episode number 1. And there's also a second part. This one has some good models. It shows a bunch of sirens and models. This was the first siren video I ever watched. But if you really want to know, if you want to learn a lot, it can be kind of daunting to navigate through, but the Air Raid Sirens Wikipedia page, like there's a dedicated Air Raid Sirens wiki. Some people don't like this because some of the information is inaccurate, but for the most part, it's a pretty good source of information, I think. It's never treated me wrong. So you just search for categories. You can click sirens, I guess. And then if you look under the pages, you have all sorts of pages for all sorts of models. Yeah. Found a 508 in Elkhart. Yeah, Elkhart County, let me find the map. Elkhart County also has some 508s. Like, these are all here. These are all the 508s that St. Joe County controls. So 508, 508, 508, 508, 508. They're technically in Elkhart County, but St. Joe County controls them. And then these are Elkhart's T128s. One, two, how many are these are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Elkhart has 10 T128s. The rest are either 2001s or 508s on Edison Road. Yeah, this one. The one by the pizza place. That's the sign you're talking about. There's a Model 2 just down the street, actually, but I don't know if it's still up. And it's inactive. That's the sign you're talking about. My local siren is this one. This 2001 SRN. So I might go film this one, or one of the other ones. One of the most recent ones I filmed was not this one, which I posted a short about it. And I filmed, let's see, this one near my school. There's, oh geez, this one on the way to my school, which is hard to film, but it wobbles really, really, really bad. There's a couple in here that I might film. But these are all 2001 SRNs. So, yeah. To answer the other guy's question, what happened to the Snap Circuits fire alarm? I still have it. Not the original panel. I have the new panel in this cabinet, which I posted about. St. Joseph needs to anchor their sirens more. Yeah, they're not gonna. They do that. Well, the reason they wobble so much is because they installed them improperly and it broke the mounting bracket for all the sirens, so they're not secured on there very tight. They won't fall off, I don't think, but yeah, they wobble around up there because they're the mounting bracket that holds them tight on there snapped. But yeah, the Snap Circuits fire alarm panel's in this box. Nothing's hooked up to it right now, but I still have it to answer that question. But back to the computer. So, yeah. 30, sweet. So if I drive from my lake house to the Constantine Thunderbolt, how far of a drive is that? What's the address of the Constantine Thunderbolt? I know Constantine also has 2 Banshees, but I don't think they test them. It's at the Constantine apartment. That's right. It's a 30-minute drive from my lake house to the Constantine Fire Department. And then if I add a destination and go over to Niles, I do have a Scratch account, yeah. I haven't added anything to it in a long time. Let's see. An hour and 17 minutes between Constantine and Niles. I don't know. What's the next town I'm going to? Oh, that depends on what is happening next. I'll probably go to somewhere in Elkhart County this Thursday. Like this next Thursday. Next week. I don't know where yet. I'm either gonna go to Goshen and see see the I forces at the Elkhart County Fairgrounds, or I might just film a random T128 somewhere. I'm not sure. It just depends on whatever's close because I like to film stuff that's close to me because I don't want to have to drive really far, and my parents don't want me to drive really far. They think that I'm crazy for driving all over northern Indiana and southwest Michigan to see science. So I want to stick close. So let's see. I've already seen the T128 on East Bristol Street and Johnson Street, the one that replaced the CVS Thunderbolt. I've already seen that. I've seen the 7V8 at the Oslo Township Fire Department. I could go see the T128 closest to my house, which would be the one near like by the airport. I don't know if that's publicly accessible, but yeah, I could film that one. I might film that one. That's the closest to it. How far a drive is that? It might only be 15 minutes. Is it? Here it is. Google Maps is being so slow, guys. No, that's not what I want. T128 Mishawaka Street. I will probably end up seeing the T128. How far drive is that? 15-minute drive. I will probably end up seeing the T128 by the Elkhart County Airport. The one at Polymer Shapers, that whatever that business is. By like Heartland RVs and Dooley Depot. I'm probably gonna go to that one if I can. You see the one on Beach Road? What do you mean by RD? Its address is 2900 Dexter Drive. The one on the 2001 SRN on Beach Road. I could see that one. Where is that? On your fourth birthday, you got a Snap Circuits kit, and ever since then you've been into electronics. Now because of my channel, I've been making fireworks. That's awesome. Good for you, man. Beach Road. Oh, that one on Beach Road. I, I, I could. There's not great. There's no good spot to park on that. You have to pull over to the side of the road, and I don't like to do that. I wouldn't want to do that. So yeah, I probably couldn't see Beach Road. It has videos. Someone's recorded it, but I know that I'm not gonna record the siren by my school, even though it's 4 p.m. I've recorded it before from inside the building, and I don't need to see it again. I've seen it plenty. I have a video from the one at Cleveland Road and Capitol Avenue, because that one, a friend of mine sent me a video of that when they were stopped there. So I know what that one was like. I've seen the one on Cleveland Road and Main Street. What road is the T128 on? That T128 I was talking about, the one by the airport. It is on. It's at the intersection of Dexter Drive and Wade Drive. W-A-D-E, Wade. On the other side of it, it's just called D-I Drive. I think it's on the property of Dooley Depot, D-U-L-L-Y. That one. But if you want to meet me for a siren, I would try and find wherever I'm going for St. Joseph County's siren test, which will be probably one of the 2001 SRNs in the Granger, Mishawaka, Osceola area. I'll figure that out, and maybe maybe make a community post on which one I'm going to. Let's see, what current mini sirens do you have? I have, I think, 7. So there's the black 50-watt megaphone, the white 15-watt megaphone, which I don't really use, the 3D printed mini German siren, my MS490, my hand crank siren, my bench grinder siren, which is currently taken apart, and I don't know if I'm going to put it back together, which I should. I didn't tell you guys. I didn't update you guys about that. It sat in my car where it was like 150 degrees, and it started scraping, so I took it apart. I might put it back together. And then I also have some PVC like air horns, like diaphragm air horns, which it's not really a siren, but they're noisemakers. And they're loud. I don't really use them. I have also been 3D printing those siren whistles, like the Acme siren. The blow and it goes wee. I 3D printed a couple of those. They're fun. It's more of a pneumatic siren, but those are fun. You live in the same area, yeah. That's sweet. If I had a way to contact people besides YouTube comments, I would totally organize some siren meetups or something, but the only contact I have right now is through my Gmail. Though I would love to get to know some local enthusiasts and maybe get some phone numbers. 508 next to the Marathon Pakisat gas station. I haven't, because I've heard that all of the 508s on the east side of St. Joseph County don't work. Um, the closest one to me would be the one on County Road 2. Yeah, I can't confirm that any of them are dead, but I've heard rumors. Yeah, I think the Packasack is the one that I. Is it? I'm not sure if I've seen that one. I'm trying to think which one I drive by when I'm on my way to see the 508 on East Bristol Street. Edison Road. I think. Okay. Here's what I'm thinking. So, I think for the first Thursday in August, I'm going to go. What I want to do is I want to film my local siren, the one at North Point Elementary School, but I want to film it from the Mary Frank playground, like get a distant shot of that 2001 SRN from the Mary Frank playground. And then go over to at 2 o'clock, go over to Elkhart and see the T-128 on Dexter Drive by the airport. Those are both close. And then for first Saturday, I will be up in Michigan, and I will either see nothing, or I will go to Dowagiac and maybe film the modulator at the Department of Housing on Daly Road. Because realistically, Dowagiac is probably all I can convince my parents to let me drive to. Either that or maybe Cassopolis to see their 2001 130. But I'm pretty convinced that the Model 5 at the Cassopolis County Fairgrounds is not hooked up, or it's locally controlled, or it's not, it just doesn't test with Cass County. I might have to see if I can get a hold of someone at the fairgrounds to let me know about that. I haven't called them yet, but I'm fairly certain it doesn't work. Because on that first Saturday, I think anything further than Cassopolis is too far for me to drive. So I'll probably just have to go over to Dowagiac and film their modulator, the 5020B at the Department of Housing and Community, whatever, on Daly Road. I think that's my plan. And then moving forward on like consecutive Thursdays, after this Thursday, I might be able to go down to Goshen and film their I-forces. But driving distance is a real concern of mine when it comes to siren testing. I know for other people like Tyler Noy and other like legacy enthusiasts who have been all over the area, like that's not a problem. But for me, that's driving distance is a major concern. So I'll have to probably stay local. So yeah, I'll see the 2001 SRN at North Point, the T-128 just north of the airport on Dexter Drive on Thursday. And then on Saturday, I will go and probably see the modulator 5020B in Dowagiac on Daily. I think that's my plan. Um, so you guys can suggest more siren locations if you want to meet me anywhere. But so far, those three are what I'm thinking for this first Thursday and Saturday. That was a lot of time. You can do the SRN? That's sweet, man. I'd love to see it. I'll just be at the playground with my tripods at Mary Frank Elementary School. What's my local siren? The 2001 SRN at North Point Elementary School. Just north of Granger. That's my closest siren. With my next closest siren being the 508 on Redfield Street, closest to Edwardsburg, just north of Granger. That is my second closest siren. And I have actually, looks like I might be seeing you next, Sis. I can't wait to see you there, man. The one time I actually heard my local 2001 SRN and the 508 go off at the same time for tornado warning. That included both St. Joseph County and Niles. So I actually heard both go off, the 8-port 508 in the distance and the 12-port 2001, and they harmonized perfectly and made like an overpitched super banshee kind of sound, like the 8-port and the 12-port together. It sounded awesome for the whole 12 seconds before I set off my own siren, which drowned both of them out. Do you wear ear protection when they go off? Sometimes. That's a bad answer, but it's true. Sometimes I will. Sometimes I just plug my ears. Sometimes I just raw dog it, like I did with Niles the other day when I went to the third Wednesday test. Posted that short of me just raw dogging Niles. It's actually not really impressive because it's reverse wired, and my decibel meter only reached 109 decibels at the highest, like, of any location while I was there. I was wandering around the parking lot as it was going on, so it's not actually that impressive in terms of raw dogging a siren. But I really should wear hearing protection, and I usually do with the louder ones. Can't handle the sound. Yeah, that's understandable. I have to tense up a little bit if I'm gonna raw dog a siren. It's not a good idea though. Like, it gives you hearing damage. It's stupid. It's not worth it. But sometimes I do it just for the bragging rights, or because I'm lazy and I don't want to put on hearing protection. Okay, here's a question that I have for you guys. This is just a preference. I know. So when we were talking about dual tone Whelans earlier, I mentioned that the EAC 2020 is locked up. It's very flexible in terms of what it can do, but Whelan keeps the controller's programming locked up from the factory, so you can't customize it unless you request it. One of those capabilities that they don't allow it to do, but it can do, is to run dual tone. A Whelan digital siren controller running a dual tone signal. My question is, if it's going to be an ESC 2030, I might have just said 2020, I'm talking about the 2030. If the ESC 2030 was set to dual tone, what would the second tone be? Would it be higher or lower than the standard tone of 560 hertz? So if it were lower, it would sound like this. Kind of like kind of like those analog wheelins that have the low tone but they're still dual tone. Or they could be high pitched and sound like this. So both of those have 560 hertz in common, but it's either a minor third down or a minor third up. I don't know which one sounds better. The high tone does sound cool. I don't know if I can simulate a wind up because I'm just using onlineToneGenerator.com with the multiple tone generator. It does allow a sweep generator, but you can't do 2 channels with that. You can only do 1. I can do like just a normal wheeling sound though. If I turn my volume up. Just a normal wheeling. That's what they sound like. If it were to be the high tone, do a little math. The high tone on its own would sound like this. So the wind up would be it would start kind of high pitched. Pretty cool though. Because traditionally with wheelin sirens, the high tone is the added tone and the original tone is the low tone. So if the ESC 2030 were programmed to be dual tone, I'm pretty sure 560 hertz would be the low tone and the high frequency would be the new tone. So like it sound like this. Sound kind of like a 10-12 port electromechanical siren. What is my favorite siren? That is a hard question to answer. I like a lot of them. There are none I dislike in particular. I'm going to choose the cop-out and say a Federal Signal Thunderbolt 1003. I gotta be honest, Thunderbolts deserve the love. They're awesome. Can't be a Thunderbolt. Do I do the modulators? I don't know what you mean by do I do the modulators, but I have not seen one yet, but with my current plans that I just made a whole 2 minutes ago, I'm gonna go see my first modulator in Dowagiac on Saturday. So, live next to 2 SRNs, extra warning when you, yeah. I guess I also live kind of close to the Fur Road 2001, the Fur Road SRN. That's like my next closest siren that's within St. Joe County. But I don't hear it because the SRN that's at North Point is much closer. The 508 on Redfield Street is my actual second closest siren. Your favorite is either the 2T22, the ACA Electronic 6000, or the Thunderbolt. Is that the AL 6000 or the AL 6000R? Because those are actually 2 different sirens. The 6000R is the rotational one. The AL 6000 is an omnidirectional one with 12 horns. 12 of the black horns. So this is completely unrelated to everything I've been talking about, everything I've yapped about for the past hour. but I've been screwing around on onlinesequencer.net, and I really like. I've been screwing around with this song. The song itself is called Echo Sax Number 4. It's just someone playing a bunch of arpeggios on a saxophone with a lot of reverb. But I added some strings underneath it with a lot of reverb, and onlinesequencer.net is being done today. That's annoying. I don't know, but I heard one time and it sounded really cool, kind of like a modulated synthesizer. Interesting. Minty, let me show you what I'm talking about in terms of the two sirens. Because they are different, but they have very similar names. So showing you what they look like might help. I've not seen a 130 go off before. The only 2000 ones I've ever seen have been SRNs. Third gens, to be specific. Because well, that's not true. I have seen one outside St. Joe County. It was the LaPorte County Fairgrounds. That video I posted a little while ago when the iForce didn't work, but the 2001 SRN did. About those sirens that I was gonna show. Which, this is for Minty. Was it this one, the AL6000R, or was it this one, the AL6000? The rotational one, or this one with all the horns? The 6000R. This one. Okay. I've seen one of these at SirenCon. It was pretty cool, but it was early on in the event, and I wasn't necessarily in it all the way. So I didn't get to enjoy it as much as I would have if I was like, wow, they have a 6000R. I was like, oh, I need to get my cameras rolling. It was fun though. I heard rumors that the one at SirenCon was from Rolling Meadows. It was not from Rolling Meadows. Yeah, I love the high-low on ACA siren. Actually, I prefer the high-low on American Signal's electronic sirens, especially the dual-tone one. It's really musical. It sounds cool. I went to SirenCon 2026. That was my first year going. I wish I could have gone to earlier SirenCons, but my school year actually ends after SirenCon. My school year ends really late in the summer, like late into the start of summer. So I actually had to skip a little bit of school in order to come to SirenCon this year. Should watch the P50 from 2024. All right, I'll pull it up. All right, have a good night. SirenCon 2024. It's the first result, P50. Okay, I'm I'm just seeing only playlists of people who compile all of the videos. Okay, here. Which one should I watch? There's Steel City Trains and Sirens, The Siren Geek. Holly's video is pretty good. 1.7 million views. Wow. The first one, this one? All right. School Chromebooks. Bear with me. I can only imagine running 1080p 60 on this. Oh, the second one. Okay. Yeah, Holly's video is better. It's gonna hit play again on its own. Watch this. See, there you go. On its own. These computers are so weird. It used to be a lot worse, though. It would automatically refresh the page before the thing even loads, and so it would get stuck in a refresh loop. Anyways. Run, run, run! Oh, that almost hurts to watch. Just knowing how much the generator is struggling and the fact that it's only running at like 80% of full pitch. That's not true. It's running more than 80%, but that's not full pitch. I can almost hear the generator struggling. That's genuinely painful to watch. Also knowing that every second that this thing runs, the cracks in the chopper are getting bigger and bigger. And that's the last of the rotator. It's crazy the fact that that was the last time we ever saw the siren function properly. And it was on video. And we also got it dying on video. Still incredible and ridiculous that we caught its death live. It's nuts. And there's them troubleshooting. There's Josh. And there's Tom, rest in peace, working out the rotator problems. There's Drew. I actually wonder where Holly was. Oh, hey, you can see the chopper spinning. That's cool. I actually wonder where Holly was when all of this was happening. Okay. Here's what's worrying, the fact that it's already gotten past full pitch now. That's how you know damage has been done. And now it's much lower pitch. Oh. forgot about that. Okay, we can swear count later. I wanna play it back frame by frame. Okay. Frame by frame. It would have been nuts if they had a slow-mo camera recording. Okay, so fine. You can see all the dust fly out. I roll it back. Gotta be real. 30 frames a second is not a lot. Wait, is this uploaded in 60 FPS? Oh, this is it. This is 60 FPS. Let me at least put it in 1080p so we can see more detail, even if it's only frame by frame. Right? Okay, so frame by frame. It's fine. It's hard to see. Rock it back and forth. You can see the dust fly out of the chopper. And if I look inside the intake, it's moving, 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 moving. Stopped, I believe. Oh no, it was still moving actually. There, oh wow. Okay, hold on. So okay, how long did it take the chopper to come to a stop? If I roll it all the way back to before it lets out any dust, I want to count the frames. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 frames to come to a standstill. What's that in terms of... So it took that amount of time, 0.183 seconds, to come to a complete stop. Which means, I'm going to copy this. It went from, let's say, 3,400 RPM to 0 in 3,400 RPM, well, minus 34 RPM, 400 RPM, divided by that amount of time. So that means that if you were to calculate the rate at which it accelerated to a stop, minus 18,500 RPM per second. That is insanely quick. Holy crap. Wait a minute. Okay, I just took calculus, so I know how to do some of this. I want to figure out how many rotations it spun in the amount of time. Wait a minute. No, I don't... Wait, I know how to do this. This barely actually does involve calculus. Okay. So here, let's say 11 over 60 is the amount of time it took. And actually, this is probably an underestimate considering that I counted frame 1 before it. So, you know what, let's say 10 out of 60. Because it didn't let out dust until frame 2. Oh, how am I doing frame by frame? Period and comma key on your keyboard. That's how you do it. You pause the video and then you hit period and comma and you can go frame by frame on YouTube. So here, I accidentally counted an extra frame. So let's say it took 10/60ths of a second, 10 frames to come to a complete stop. That amount of time multiplied by 3,400 RPM, but then divide by 60 because we're in seconds and not minutes. So it took roughly 9.5 rotations of the chopper for it to come to a stop. which took 16.7 milliseconds, or 16.7 thousandths of a second. No, 16.7, 166.7 milliseconds, my bad. So at 35 or 3400 RPM, which is like 50 some rotations in a second, it took 9.5 rotations to come to a stop. I can only see, now I understand why it friction welded. Absolutely insane. See, this is why the German siren that I have scares me a little bit, because it's an 8-inch rotor, and spinning at like 60 rotations a second, or no, 50 rotations a second at full pitch, which is a lot of, like, the edge speed of that is really fast. Which means friction welding can happen really quickly, and something getting caught in there or something flying off of it could be going dangerously fast. Because what? It's 8 inches across times pi to get me the circumference, divided by 12 to put it into feet, multiplied by 50 times a second. So the edge of my German siren's rotor at full pitch is going 104 feet per second, which is 71 miles per hour. So you could say that if my German siren's rotor were a wheel on a car spinning at the same speed as if it were going full pitch, it would be driving along the road at 71 miles per hour. How's that for a ridiculous stat? See, this kind of math, like just screwing around, this is why I love just screwing around with a calculator sometimes. Like, I might be crazy, but I can entertain myself for like a solid 10 minutes with just a calculator, just playing with numbers in my head and finding out ridiculous stats that don't mean anything, but they're mildly interesting. Weird little personality bit. Interesting. So there's some interesting stats about the P50 death. And now back to the video. I gotta put it back into 720p or else my Chromebook's gonna complain. Wait a minute. Live Drew reaction. Come on, that's like a perfect freeze frame. Live Drew reaction. Anyways. How many was that in total? 11. Come on, man. This is supposed to be family friendly. Should we watch my video from Niles? Am I going to be that guy who watches his own videos on stream? Should I do that to you guys? I'm not going to do that to you guys. Unless you really want to see that, I'm not going to do that to you guys. I'm not going to make you watch my own video on stream. That'd be weird. I think. Probably my camera on another camera. It is 12:17 in the morning. What am I doing? Do I have an alarm set? I do not. Alexa, set an alarm for 10 a.m.
Alarm set for 10 a.m.
You listen to the federal signal modulator Westminster chimes. Sure. Here. Do you want... I can't believe I'm saying this. Do you want raw tones, or do you want it coming out of a modulator? Because I can do both. I can look up a video, or I can play the raw tones straight from an Ultra Voice. Because they're all stored on this hard drive. Among other things, I have some raw tones. Both. Alright. A little side by side. We can do that. Actually, I might have them stored on my Google Drive, so never mind. Let me see what I can do. Google Drive is being slow. I just want a Westminster chime. Is that so much to ask? Here. While I'm signal modulator, Westminster chimes, wah jack. So this will be the siren I hear on Saturday. The exact siren I hear on Saturday. Pretty sure. Yeah, that one. Okay, so I got the YouTube video up. Ultra Voice, Westminster, chimes. Here we go. Pull that one up. Okay. So here, Westminster chime sirens are probably the most common sirens used. Yeah, I can concur. Okay, so here is what the raw tones sound like. This was recorded directly out of an Ultra Voice control board. Yep. And then here's what it sounds like out of a modulator. Yeah. I do think modulators preserve the tone quality of the tone of the square wave tone that goes into it. They preserve it really well. As opposed to like a Wheeling siren where you input a square wave into the speaker drivers and then you get whatever tone a Wheeling siren has. It's different whether it's a cell, like a speaker cell siren, or a vortex, or like a WMPS 4004, like a rotational siren. The rotational sirens have a sharper tone to them, like tone quality. I actually have... How many Westminster chimes do I have in here? In this tone library? Holy crap. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, some of these aren't Westminster chimes. I have to specify Westminster chime. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different Westminster chimes in my siren tone library. Do you prefer the rotator sirens or the one with a bunch of horns connected to them? Oh, you mean like for the ACA electronics? I prefer the AL6000R, the rotational one. I think they look really cool. But they're rare. I am pretty disappointed that I did not get to see the electronic at Rolling Meadows, Illinois. I've actually been to Rolling Meadows, Illinois more than once, but both times I went, it was after, well, both times it was for a jazz a school jazz trip because I'm in the jazz band at my school. But also, um, both times it was already removed in private possession. I also really wanted to go to Oak Ridge, Tennessee to see their electronics, the single tone ones, but those have all been replaced, or at least they've been deactivated. Um, some in Michigan. I didn't know Michigan had electronics. Might be worth searching the map. Let me look that up. What is the auto exposure doing? Pull this back up. I'm getting tired, guys. Light blue location marks in there. Yeah, I'm just gonna search the map itself and like the sidebar. Michigan, where is it in the list of silent maps? There it is. Ooh. Okay. Use the map legend. Yeah, I'm just gonna open up every single column and then just Control F all of them, like the entire page. So here. So apparently Michigan has 23 ACA sirens on this map. And that does not include the ACA alerters at Niles because they are Darley alerters. Interestingly enough. So I'm just going to hit Control F and start hitting Enter until I see an electronic pop up. There's only 23 ACA sirens. How hard can it be? Screamer. Okay, it's in the Upper Peninsula. Okay, it's in the Upper Peninsula, right next to a. How do you pronounce that? Menominee? Menominee, Michigan? There's two of them? Oh, it's next to an ATI, which is also inactive. That I have to look up the street view on that. That must be a really, really interesting place to see. That'd be weird seeing an ATI and an ACA electronic side by side. Both inactive too. Okay, I have to see this. Let me pull it up on Google Maps. There's Street View available. That's nuts. Okay, hold on. Let me move over a little bit and show you guys this. What is Google Maps doing? Okay. I want to move forward. Okay. How's that for a ridiculous picture? Check this out. An AL6000R and an ATI HPSS32R right next to each other. That's a real location. Outside of school, of all things. That's nuts. Oh, wow. It's one of the earlier ones that used the chain drive as well. That is super cool. So that is the penetrator's chain drive mechanism, but it's facing the other way. So the driving pulley or the driving gear, whatever, is in the front. And so the top of the teardrop shape faces forward instead of backwards. and then pan over. Look at the ATI. Which, is that a 32R? Let me check. Yes, it is an ATI HPSS 32R. Inactive. That is super, super, super cool. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. That is an awesome location on Google Maps. Screenshot that. I'm saving that. That is awesome. Okay. I want to look at other electronic locations in Michigan, if there are any. So 32R has 4 horns and the 16R has 2 horns. That is true, but there's actually... That's somewhat not true, because the very early version of the ATI HPSS 16R actually did have 4 horns. It's because the 16R has 4 drivers in it, and the version with 2 horns has 2 drivers per horn. But originally, it had 1 driver per horn, and they had 4 horns. Or throats, I guess. But once they figured out how to cram 2 drivers into 1 throat, then they shrunk it down and then made the larger one, the ATI HPSS 32R, by cramming 2 drivers per throat on 4 throats to give it 8 drivers. So that's why it's so powerful. And I've heard people claim that an ATI HPSS 16R, a healthy one, is about as loud as a Whelen Vortex. So a 32R must have been really loud. It would have been like a Whelen 4008, basically. Though I was surprised to learn that I know that the decibel rating of a Whelen Vortex with all 4 drivers is 129 decibels at 100 feet. But with double the drivers, a Whelen WPS 4008 only gets 131 decibels. So yes, it breaks the 130 mark, but it's only 2 decibels louder, even though it has double the drivers. So that surprises me, and now I understand why the 4008 was discontinued. Interesting little bit of siren history there. Okay, let me look at other locations. There's another 6000R. Also, is it also next to an ATI? It is. So it's on the same system. Okay. Where's this located? 41st Avenue next to... Let me find it. Am I gonna be able to find it? Probably not. Let me just search up this place. View in Google Maps. Yes. Street view. Come on. Unique and discontinued sirens. Yeah. Though they're kind of all over the state. There aren't a lot of unique and interesting sirens where I am. It's mostly Model 5s and STH10s, besides the stuff in Niles. Okay, so let's see, where are we here? Oh wow, they're like right next to each other. Check that out. I'm gonna move back down the road a little bit, zoom in a little further. And holy crap. That's a real thing. That's not an edit. That's a real thing. Screenshot that one. Why did they put 2 of them next to each other? I assume that this was installed first, and then this was installed as its replacement. But both of them are inactive. So I assume that the second system of ATIs was also like made inactive. That is so bizarre to see 2 of those right next to each other. I'm like my brain is short-circuiting. That is such a cool visual. Let me go a bit down the road. Look at. Oh my goodness. When was this? This was August 2025, so they're probably still up. But that is insane. Screenshot that too. Okay. Let me see if there are any more electronic locations in Michigan. They're probably going to be on the same system. But this is up in the Upper Peninsula. What city is this close to? Oh, it's on the Wisconsin side. It's like the very, very, very bottom tip of the Upper Peninsula. So it's like right next to Wisconsin. 508 and an EOWS right next to each other. Yeah, I did see that video. That was a pretty cool video. I have a feeling that a lot of these, the rest of these are going to be... Yeah, okay. So the only AL6000, the only ACA electronics that are in Michigan are in the Upper Peninsula, are in the, like, Michigan, Wisconsin, like the very, very, very bottom corner of the Upper Peninsula on the Wisconsin side. Somewhat near. Actually a little bit south and really far east of Rhinelander, where SirenCon is. Yay! Can I find it without... Can I find the Tasoma Scout Camp without help? There you go, Tasoma Scout Camp. And SirenCon was held right there. I was right there. So, it looks weird without everyone there. Wait, so now I wonder, this isn't the Wisconsin Siren map, so it's not up, but I don't actually know where all of the camp sirens are located. When we went here, they had us park over here in this lot, and then we had to walk this stretch up to here. Does everyone have to wear ear protection at SirenCon? Yes, we do. It is required at SirenCon. For good reason, too. There was only 1 or 2 sirens where they started it before I could get my hearing protection on, and that was not a fun experience. So, that's a bit of a walk. Anyways, so I know that the Wheelan Vortex is, I think it's just down, this is the dining hall. Is it on this building? There's not, I don't think there's available street view here. Somewhere around here is the Vortex. Maybe it's like in here somewhere. And then further down the lake shore, I think it's buried in here. I think it's this building that has the electronic, the 1600. Yep, that's it right there. That little blob. And then further down is the Akela's World. The WPS 2802. I don't know where that is. But if I ever do go to SirenCon, and stay until Monday, where they test the sirens, I would probably go to Rib Mountain to see their P50 or whatever it actually is. I would not stay on camp. I would not probably stay in Rhinelander. A lot of people go up to Rib Mountain to watch the P50, so I would probably do the same. So maybe I'll do that next year. Yeah, SirenCon is pretty far. I don't know where you said you're in the Michiana area. For me, it was about an 8-hour drive to go south of Chicago, or to go south of Lake Michigan, around Chicago, and then up through Wisconsin, up to Rhinelander, which is about here. I'd say it was worth the drive. Me and my dad did it all in one day. We just left early in the day and then got into the area at about 6 o'clock. We left at like 8 in the. Is that 8 hours? 8. Oh, yeah. Me and my dad, we left the St. Joe, we left the South Bend area at about 9 a.m. and then we got into the Rhinelander area at about 6 p.m. The siren that was loudest for me, if we're going to include SirenCon, it was the Chrysler, of course. That thing was chest rumbling at idle, which was terrifying. And even though they didn't point it at us and it only got up to about 3/4 of full throttle, it shook the ground. I'm gonna go to bed. It's the siren next to North Point, right? Yes, it is. I think that's where I'm gonna go. I'll be at the Mary Frank Playgrounds, so I'll see you there. So yeah, SirenCon, yeah, and that's Michigan. All right. Have a good night. Just my phone up. How did I do this earlier? Hold on. Ooh. Are you going to the one next to North Point? Yeah. Yes, I am. I need to clear my browsing data so onlinesequencer.net will comply and actually work. Again, school Chromebook. Let's try that again. Okay. Now load the instrument I want you to load. Yay, it works. Import sequence file. Add audio track. That one. Let's see if this sounds good. I need to adjust it. Looks like your chat is working for me. The most recent message was, it says, wait, are you going to do the one next to North Point? Sound nice. And then add in the French horn melody that is straight up a ripoff of Gooseworks. What siren map do I use? I use let me show you. It's in my bookmarks. I use this page. It's just called Master List of Siren Maps, I'm pretty sure. It's on the Air Raid Sirens wiki, airraidsirens.net/ or it's on the Air Raid Siren forums, technically. It's just called Master List of State/Country Siren Maps, and they have statewide siren maps for every state in the US, and then several for other countries as well. So this is the place to get your siren maps. So yeah, this page, Master List of State/Country Siren Maps. So in addition to this one, I have also put together a siren map of my local area by combining the northern part of the Indiana siren map and the southwestern part of the Michigan siren map. And then just putting them together in one Google Maps file and saving it. So that's what I use from like my siren map, so I can see Indiana and Michigan sirens at the same time. So I can see my entire area's sirens all at once, instead of looking back and forth between two maps. Listen to this again because it sounds good. You know, what the heck? I'll pull up Scratch. I haven't opened Scratch in forever. Seriously. A lot of the stuff I made on Scratch, I made like 4 years ago, and I just haven't touched it since. So they updated their... Okay. Look at this. Regardless of the number, how can one have that many notifications on a website? Let me see what they say. Holy. To answer your question, that music was something I put together on onlinesequencer.net. It's just some strings on top of an audio file. This is a song that's already exists. It's called Echo Sax Number 4, just by this person. It's just like a saxophone doing arpeggios in a really with a lot of reverb, and I just added some strings underneath it. It sounds good. But back to Scratch. That is a lot of notifications. Just looking at some of these comments. There's a lot of stuff. I might have to look at this on my own time for now. But I can... Here's comment. Here, I can filter it by just comments. Here, let me go to my stuff. I wonder what my most popular stuff is. Wow, my things have a lot of views. Let me, here, sort by most viewed. Interesting that the 435 hertz one has the most views. 2,000. Open it up. So this uses the same set of tones. Oops. I see that popped up while I was watching. So I'm pretty sure this is the same set of tones that I use through my sirens, but I just play the audio files directly from my Google Drive or whatever. I don't play it out of this. Sure, I can check it out. Gotta be real. I don't use Scratch very often anymore at all. So it's not showing up. Yeah, I can't find it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting kind of tired. I might need to go to bed soon. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know who actually watches this at 1 o'clock in the morning. Anyone is still watching, will guess the siren. I'm just opening up a bajillion siren videos from my subscriptions on YouTube. So I don't know. Maybe you guys want to do that? See if you can guess the siren from the sound. My phone died, and that's why the stream flipped for a while. I had to let it recharge before I could power it back on. That's the siren. You got it. It's a super Banshee. Okay. How about this one? It is an RSH-10. It's a Thunderbeam. Okay. How about this one? Okay. Here we go. Yes, it is an order. Did you guess that instead of like a P10? Okay, this one's gonna stump you guys. Probably. Nope, not a 10V, not a 3V8, not a P10. Nope, not a Sentry. Oh, wait, I thought I heard something. Yes, it is ACA. I'm gonna play it again. I'll play it again. This is a hard one. This would not be anyone's. No, not a PN20. PN20s don't sound like that. Yes, it's rotational. It is not an 8-port Banshee or Screamer. It's not a P15. Nope, Howlers never came in 8-port. I think I got you guys. You guys give up? Yes, it is. I think I just gave it away. Technically, it's not ACA if it's BNN, so it's a BN52. It's a mobile Directo. This is the one in Milwaukee that recently got decommissioned. Okay. This one, I'm gonna do it, but it's gonna be no chance here, no competition. It's gonna be easy. You guys are gonna? Yeah, Milwaukee is in the process of replacing their entire old system. So everything but the Hurricane is going, and the Hurricane they're just gonna run until it dries up, until it calls it quits. Okay. Here's all right. You guys are gonna immediately recognize this as an ACA Hurricane. My question is, can you recognize which Hurricane it is? There's only a few left. There are a couple of videos of hurricanes going off, but which hurricane is this one? The one that I'm about to play. Skip ahead a little bit. Okay, here we go. Yep, Milwaukee. And no, they cannot. I don't think they can just put more oil in the blower. I don't know if oil is the reason or not, but I think it's just old. It's just not a good design. And the replacement has already been installed. There's already a T128 installed down the road, waiting to be activated. So once the Milwaukee Hurricane dies, its replacement is already waiting. And it just has to have its switch flipped on, and then it's ready to go. So I'm hoping someone saves the Milwaukee Hurricane and possibly restores the blower. It's the motor. I don't know if it's the motor or if it's the blower unit itself. Yeah. It's not faring good. Okay. Next one. Guess this siren. Pause the video. Darian had a louder blower, not as Sawtooth, the oven chopper, Milwaukee had a bone dry blower, so they go to work too. So. Was it? Did Darien have a reverse wired blower? I don't remember. I want to see Milwaukee in person at some point, but I know that I'm running out of time. Yeah, I'm wondering if Darien's blower was reverse wired, which is why it would be so loud. I have to look back at some videos. But I wonder if it's possible to see the Milwaukee Hurricane on my way up to SirenCon. No, because Milwaukee tests the second Wednesday of the month, and SirenCon is always like the end of May, so that wouldn't work. I wouldn't be able to see it go off, but I'd be able to see it, like, just take pictures. I don't think we drive close enough to it to see it. It'd have to be a bit of a detour, so I don't know if I'm going to end up seeing it in time, unless I'm somehow in the area. Anyways, here's another siren. Next time, kind of bring up your blue half-scale Hurricane. Dude, that'd be awesome. I would love to see that. Let me skip ahead to when this is. Seen some of Milwaukee sirens, including Hurricane in person. That's awesome. I've seen. I don't know if it was Milwaukee or if it was Kenosha. I did see one of Wisconsin's P50s at some point. I was like stopped at a gas station somewhere and saw one off in the distance. It was cool. That was my first time ever seeing a P50. Let's see. Guess this siren.
20 seconds.
That's not the siren. Yep, P15. This is the new one in Big Flats, Wisconsin. This is BLS's video. Let's see, I'm not going to do that one because it's too recognizable. Okay, this one I'm just going to be trolling you guys a little bit. Yes, they do wind up faster. Alright, here's one. Eventually. Yeah, it's a vortex. Imagine I did something stupid like a WS 2000R. I think I'm going to keep doing Guess the Siren, but I might check that out. Yeah, I know a WS 2000R can. Yeah, I know you can put one on a 2030, but like, I would if I did that, you guys like wouldn't guess it at first. Like it would be taking a while. Okay, here's one. Yeah, 2128. You guys are good. Some of these I was wondering, like, would you guys guess that would be a 508, and then it just kept winding up. Oh, a lot of these are the same. Ooh, here's one. Okay. This one I'm really going to test your ears here. So I'm going to play 2 sirens back to back, and I want you to tell me which one is the banshee, which one is the screamer. Okay. Okay. Here's the first one again. Here's the second one. Which one do you think is which? One of those is a banshee, and one of those is a screamer. They do sound very similar. I'm gonna let more people answer maybe before I reveal the big review. Alright. You are both wrong. I put the screamer first. This is at SirenCon, but I put the screamer first. I wouldn't have been able to guess that. That's a really, really, really tough one. Yeah, I bamboozled you guys. Yes, you were technically right originally. Okay. Let me go back to my subscriptions and see what other siren videos there were, or there are. Yeah, I'm the same way. I second guess myself all the time. Let's see. I'm not gonna do another wheelin'. Okay. Alright, how about this one? Yeah, that'd be devious. more recognizable than I thought, you know? Huh. If a T128 was that pitch, I would consider that not a very healthy siren. Even though it's technically still over the pitch of an 8-4 siren. So maybe it would be, I don't know. Here's one. I don't think your guys are... Almost every FSR uses FSK. Yeah. Okay. This one, I don't think you're going to get this one right away. Nope, not ACA. Not Sentry. BNN, not federal. Is it Darley? Or which kind? Not an HOR, not Type 5. Not 3V8. Not BNN. Darley never made a 3V8. I said it's Darley. Not a Darley Model 7. I'm just going to skip ahead to the wind down because it's getting old. I'll give it to you. It's Darley Vertical Champion. It's one of these things. Let me turn my camera around. I don't actually know what the proper name for these is, but it just says Darley Champion in the video. I know there's a proper name for it, but I don't actually know what it is. I don't know my Darleys real well. I know the Super Champion, and I know the Darley, like, Champion Fire Siren, which is the 3V8. But the tall one, with the tall one. There's also the 3V8 that has the really short rotor. I don't know what that one is. Technically, it was never called the 3V8. It was called the... I think it was just called the Darley... I think it was just called the Darley Champion. Just the Darley Vertical Champion. And then the one with the taller rotor is the Darley Champion Fire Siren. I know that's for sure. Yeah, it's Waterproof Champion. That's what it's called. Thank you. Lots of wheelings in here. I don't want wheelings. There's so many wheelings in my subscriptions. Alright, well, here's one. Newsflash, it's more 8-port. I did see your videos about the hurricane. It was really cool, man. Why did it pause the video? Anyways. Also, growing up with 864s, I'm so jealous. You're correct. Not a 10V. Yes, this one's a 388. Centuries always have such a high peak pitch compared to other 8-port sirens, and I don't know why. Sure, I can show my weather radios. How much battery am I at? Yep, and a 4-port on top. Let me turn my camera around. Here you go. Yay, weather radios. I have all the backlights on because it looks cool. Why is my camera quality so crap right now? I had to unplug the 74109 so I could plug my Chromebook in. Oh yeah, and fire alarms on the floor. So, pretty cool. I have nothing installed besides my BG12 and the Commander 3. And the Commander 3 is set on chime right now. But I'm not going to set it off because it is 1:32 in the morning and I have family sleeping and they are going to kill me if I set that off. Yeah. Oh, and I still have the massive stack of filament from that post I did. Which, I never mentioned this, but these 3 rolls here on the top are actually glow-in-the-dark filament. This is all PLA. Yes, W grandma. The ones I actually got from my grandma are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Which one is... Why did it break? The one that's on the printer right now. That's actually transparent filament. What are the 2 radios on the drawer? This one is an MG kit MD319. It's like the modern version of the running Snell MD319. And a Midland 74109, which does not work. It powers on and the test button works, but it does not activate, and I don't know why, and I'm really frustrated about that. Commander 3s, 2s, and 4s are what your school district uses. That's really cool. I've been to... I have been to a school that used Commander 3s. I did not see Commander 4s when I was there. But it was also for a jazz trip. On the brown drawer? Oh, you mean these 2? Neither of these are actually weather radios. These are both scanners. So a Uniden Bearcat BC 147 XLT. It's a 16-channel scanner. It's a basic one. I got this at an antique shop for $16. No? Oh. And my Bofang. I don't know which ones you're talking about. I don't have... I don't know what you mean. Brown drawer. I do have my zone guard up here, and then this thing back here. What, this one? I keep this radio shut off because it actually doesn't have a siren, which annoying. No, not this one. This one? The Eton zone guard on the wall. Not a big deal, it's okay. I got the this portable radio, my zone guard, the 2 silver radio. You mean? You said you didn't mean this one. Oh, these two. You mean these two? Yeah, these are both Midland WR300s. This one on the right is a version 4, and this one on the left is a version 5 Deluxe, which I found out is different than a version 5, a regular version 5, because the version 5 Deluxe fixed the version 5's tuner issues and got rid of the text on the bottom. I thought only version 8s had no text on the bottom. You see this one has the white text, this one doesn't. I thought it was only version 8s that didn't have that text, but apparently the V5 Deluxe doesn't have it either. So I bought this thinking it was a version 8 and it was a version 5 Deluxe. So maybe one day I'll get a version 8, but that's not soon. And I also have a WR400. This one is a regular WR400. It's not a DSP. I actually don't have any DSPs. I only have one WR120, and it's an Easy, my first radio. Good radio. Loud radio, but it's a good radio. Okay. What am I leaning on? Can I make my phone? Is there a better way to do this? You guys want to keep doing Guess the Siren? I've got more videos, but they're not hard ones. I can come up with hard ones, but at least for a bit, they won't be very hard ones. This might give it away. Yeah, STL10. Oh yeah, I guess I did show it, maybe. Scrolling through my subscriptions to see if there's really anything genuinely interesting that I haven't already done. Okay, how about this one? Yep, RM130. How did you break your green radio? Is my phone plugged in? Oh yeah, leaving radio outside. That sounds really. Yes, that was an RM130. STH10s have a slower windup. It's actually not really low for an RM130. That's about average, or even a little high pitched. RM130s never make it to the same pitch as a. No, that's not true. There was a whole system of high pitched RM130s. They got to like the same pitch as a 12 port siren, even though it's a 9-port rotor. But I would say that even that was pretty high pitched for E flat 5. Yeah, that was. I'd say that was actually pretty average pitch for an RM130. I know I'm waffling, but like, I would say so. That's probably pretty average for an RM130. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys. Okay, well here I'll give you one more. Yeah. I'm gonna give you guys one more somewhat easy one, and then I'm gonna give you a really hard one. Nope, not a 10B. It really okay, that does sound like a 10B. Can you see any reflection on my glasses? Oh yeah, well I guess when it was zoomed in. Here. No glasses. No glasses reveal. You can barely read the chat. Here, fine, I'll put the glasses back on if it helps you guys. Yes, it is a Sentry. That helpful? Technically, it's not a brake. It's just single phase. I think you guys might be a little upset when I tell you. I keep guessing, or yes, it is a 3V8H. You got it. Only took you that long. That's not the hard one. That was supposed to be the easy one. I'm going to give you the really hard one. No. Yeah. Okay. this might be hard. Okay. So what I'm not talking about is the Model 5T. This recording also has a Model 5T in it. I'm talking about the other siren. Try and guess what this is. You're getting somewhere. Still kind of getting somewhere. Nope. Not a cue. Nope. You're getting colder. You're correct about that. Nope, it's not B&M. Stop, so I'm gonna start over. You're getting warmer. A little warmer. Nope, not analog 864. I'll test the recom in a minute. Okay. I'll give you guys a hint. It's not a vehicle siren. Okay? Not technically. I'll just say it. Yeah, it's not a vehicle siren. It's not a small siren either. No, not an F2. What is the auto exposure doing with it? You got it. It is a Whelen WS1000. That is what the original Whelen WS1000 sounds like. On its original controller from the factory, it is basically a police siren hooked up to PA speakers. That is what the original Whelen WS1000 sounds like. I wonder it was not very popular because it sounded like a freaking police siren. So there you go. I think I've done guess the siren a couple times, and I always throw that one in the mix because it always stumps everybody. Except for you guys. Now you're gonna know what it is. Okay. Here's another kind of tough one. It was hard. It always is. Alright, how about this one? It's gonna start. I need to skip it. Come on. I do not. Not necessarily. I'll play it again. Nope, not a type B. You're not gonna believe me. No, it is not 10-4. Then maybe I just gave it away. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep playing this over and over. I think I got you guys. Nope, not a D cop. I'm not gonna play it again. Keep playing. All right, fine. I'll play it one more time. Not HOR. Small hint, it is in Tennessee. Nope, not a Darley. Yes, it's in Tennessee. It's not in Nashville. Yes, it is a Denver duplex. That's a W. That's a massive W. Okay, technically it's actually a quadruplex, but I'll give it to you. It's Denver. Okay. What else can I do? Yeah, it's a tough one. I think HOR is. I'm pretty sure HOR is one of the only other companies that makes or that made 10-port sirens, right? I don't think Federal ever made a 10-port siren on its own. I don't think ACA never made a 10-port siren on its own. Sentry doesn't do 10-port. Well, no. That's not true. Sentry does do 10-port. They have the 14V. And the 40V1T, which, well, that's a custom siren. So, yeah. See, if I hadn't said it out loud, I would have done a Sentry 14V. So, you guys just got lucky. Sentry. Alright. I'll do a Sentry. Okay. How'd you guess it before I played it? It's Defender. Dang. I've been outsmarted. Okay. Oh, what other sirens can I do? I need to do something that. Boy. Okay, here's one that I don't know if you guys know it or not, but I'll play it anyways. Just kidding. Okay. Let's try this video. Nope. I'm not gonna do one of Jared's sirens. What if I just stop there? Actually, don't. Let's play that again. That's all I'll give you. Model 5. Let's try this video. Nope, not a G-cop. You could consider this a small siren. Nope, not a little giant. Nope, this is one siren. I don't know why it's missing like that. Here, I'll run it back up again. Nope, it's not a motor siren. I guess this is a tougher one than I thought. This will be the last one, too. I'm going to cut the stream off at a little over 3 hours. I'll play this one more time. If you guys can't guess it, then I'll just tell you. Start from the beginning, too, so with the growls. Nothing? Alright. Well, the stream's 3 hours long and it's 2 a.m. and I need to go to bed, so I'm just going to tell you guys. This is the siren I was showing. A Federal Signal Model 76. It is an 8/9 port fire truck siren. So it is dual tone, but it is a really weird dual tone. I'm pretty sure this is the only 8/9 port siren, at least that I've ever heard of. It's there's also a Model 77, which I think is like the same thing. I really don't know what the difference is between the two. But yeah, these are really cool sirens. And this is a really nice one with a nice long wind down. Yeah, they're cool stuff. So yeah, I had fun. I'm gonna be done. Like I said, it's 2 in the morning. I need to go to bed. Yeah, I'll leave your scratch up on my computer so I can look that up later. But for now, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm surprised there were this many people who would stay up. I'll leave the message open. There you go. So I'll check out your stuff tomorrow. There it is. So, thank you guys for watching. I will see you whenever I post another video or do another stream. This was fun. It is late. I am tired. So yeah. Have a good night and please go to bed. Why are you up this late? Alright. See you guys.